150 lashes, please. Can I get a carton of James? Can I get a carton of Chancer? And can I get some James Bogues? And then I got some cider for his wife. And I was like, can I get maybe 6 bottles of Fifth Leg as well, please? Aye, sound. Just in the boot. Aye, cool. Pop the boot open. My brother's like, I need to get a photo of this. He's got the camera out, he's got the phone out, taking videos. And then I says to the boy, he says, go and just, can I get a bottle of James Squire in the front, please? He's like, aye, sound. Gave my brother it. And boy goes, you want it open? Boy opened it for him. My brother's just sitting like that going, wow. And the boy gives him a free stubby harder. And my brother's just sitting like that going, this is unbelievable.
First day in Australia
to the drive-through.
It blows your mind. I've got a mate that was over here, him and his missus came over, and he's a copper, and I said to him, says drive-through bottle shop. He's like, what? I said, and I explained, he's like, what, you can just drive through and get your beer? And yeah, I said, you put it in the boot of the car. And I says, but you can get a roadie. He's like, what do you mean, what's a roadie? They owned it and give you it. It's like, what?
Because folk don't understand that, because it's 0% across 0% at home. Yeah. You can't even really have a shandy and drive safely. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people dig on out for meals as much anymore, because a lot of couples will go out and have a meal or a glass of wine and stuff like that.
But there's tons of mid-strength stuff here as well, which is I have to say I kind of don't see the point drinking mid-strength.
Nah,
I'd rather have a cold drink, soft drink than a mid-strength beer, but you can have if people like exactly, if people like a beer,
it's weird though when you're back home, innit? No one talks about mid-strengths. No. You're just buying a beer.
You don't really get that. I don't know if you get them.
What strength is it? You don't ask, do you?
Do you get mid-strength beer back home? I don't know if there used to be like that. Is it Lone Brow or something? No, it wasn't Lone Brow. It was the one that was like sugar.
I don't think it's ever come up in a conversation.
That's a good point. Why would you have? I tell you, one of my mates.
Can I have a beer? Oh, what strength?
Have you got a 3.5 there?
Yeah.
One of my mates went to. I think it was Morocco. We went to Morocco, right? And it was like alcohol-free beer. And he's like, I'm not drinking, that's pointless. So, but he's standing every time we went in, because it's obviously a Muslim country or whatever, right? So he's gone alcohol-free beer. And he says, those 4 Germans came into the restaurant when he was sitting, and they were just sitting watching the world go by, and the Germans were drinking alcohol-free beer, getting drunk.
Aye, but the thing is,
because they didn't know it was alcohol-free beer, and they were just
psychologically
at Christmas, Paris obviously can't drink, so she was like, I managed to find Koppelberg 0%,
yeah.
Carlton.
Yeah, they all do.
Wine, there was bubbles, there was red wine. I'm just like,
you can get whiskey and gin.
If it tastes what you want to taste, that's great. I'm not big enough fan of beer, to be honest with you, to drink.
It all tastes like it should.
Yeah, to be honest,
which was weird.
It does. It's weird. Like yesterday, I went to a friend's house for like a meet up, like a New Year's catch up, just me and 2 other people, and he said they supplied the food and said bring drinks. So I thought, right, I'll take a bottle of wine for them, but I thought I don't want to drink, so I actually got a non-alcoholic wine. It tasted pretty good.
It's just pointless.
And I drank a full bottle of it, and I had no effect.
I don't get it, man.
No effect. I could drive home.
You can hardly believe that. I don't get the point.
I was drinking it thinking, like, what is the point in me drinking this? But I think it was just more like of a social thing. They're supping a wine, so I thought, well, I'll sup a wine. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling, though, knowing there's no alcohol
You're drinking
in it.
Whatever it is. It tastes like wine, but it's not doing what wine should.
I've only ever drank for effect, to be honest with you. I don't see the need for drinking unless it's drink for effect. But
I don't overly enjoy
getting drunk. Yeah.
Like
No, I used to only ever drink to get effect.
I get raging heartburn. Heartburn puts us off. I can't.
I get bad heartburn.
I was up with my mates, right? So I had quite a big Christmas, a big Boxing Day. I think I'd done any on the 27th, and I was up with the boys on the 28th. I knew we were at the Indian bar in Scarborough for about 12 o'clock. My mate goes away and gets a tray of Jägermeister thinking he's Jock the Cock at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right? Yeah. This boy, you can tell he was getting, he got let loose for the wife. His wife's pregnant, so he's
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, comes back with a tray of Jägermeister, and I'm like, why? And then I'm at the bar at half 3. I'm at the bar at half 3, going, there you go, have that. I don't know what I'd be drinking. He's like, I think it was
you must be off for drink now, mate. I mean, you should be full bore, sober as a judge, car keys at the ready, phone on the desk.
However, so I have decided, I haven't had a drink since then. But we've got, so all the football boys are trying to get together for Conor McGregor's fight at the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So that's got to be my last hurrah. But
You better
it's
have an
dodgy,
Uber
like,
driver ready, because I tell you what,
I know.
you might think you want to be at the birth, right? But if you are at the birth
Hungover.
pissed, you will
I know.
You'll
Like,
get, I can't even begin to tell you the amount of abuse you'll get for that.
she's got the
It
baby
won't,
shower.
go, it won't go down well.
It will not go down well.
But I've said that. I says, this is it though. This is right until he arrives. I'm off the bed.
And I'm going to tell you what she said. Fine. Yo, we all know what fine means. We know what fine. Did she say fine?
What she says.
Oh, she went, that's all right.
Yeah.
You do what you want.
But you should have picked
That's
up.
fine.
You should have picked up on the tone of voice.
Yeah, because none of that means it's fine.
What she's saying, but what she actually means will be completely different.
Yeah, if you come in to the birthday chamber
okay,
when I'm having a baby,
Aye, but as long
and
as
you're
I've been
pissed.
thinking about this, as long as I see the fight, and I maybe leave the pub about 5 o'clock, I think I'll still be all right.
I'll be all right. You could sober up.
You tell yourself that.
But here's the
I'm
question,
trying
though,
that.
right? Conor McGregor's fighting. Paris calls. Chris, baby's coming. You're like, it's only round one.
Can
you
wait?
It's only another 5 minutes.
It's only
So you just hold it in.
The
Hold it in a
the
little
fight's
bit.
only got the last 25
Yeah.
minutes.
You're like, get yourself home. Then you'll be sure what she means.
I'll be right.
You'll be right.
She'll be right.
Yeah.
His first word's got to be aye. And she's
Definitely.
like, no. I was like, oh, aye.
I must admit, your English is more English than your English.
He's closer to England than I am, mate.
Well, I'm only,
Man, you only half
throw a
English.
stone and
I'm
hit
only
English.
maybe not even 18 miles away from the English border.
Oh, right, okay. So you
But then
start,
I kind of have to, for work,
So
Because
do I.
I'm
I've dialed
speaking
up
to-
a little bit in here.
I have to organise like dispatch and
yeah.
sometimes speak to customers and speak to service and stuff like that. I kind of have to watch what I'm saying a lot and be a bit more pronounced instead
Yeah.
of just kind of slipping in. But like I say, on the Monday, I'm a write-off.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to my brother, maybe spoke to my mother on
You've
the
got
phone.
you've got your Scottish tongue back.
Yeah.
Aye.
No,
So were you anywhere near Moffat then?
Aye, Moffat's in the Scottish borders. Moffat's maybe
How do you
25
know
minutes away
Moffat,
from
Mark?
me?
You've been to Moffat?
Listen,
Moffat's one of my favourite places in Scotland.
I've been to Scotland. I've been to
Moffat's such a random sort of place to go, though, if
when we
you're
were
coming through
when we
Bolton.
were at primary school, our teacher had an old clacked out yellow minibus, and she took us on a school trip to Moffat, and it was the best holiday I've ever had. It was staying in this big
fantastic
manor house. We were riding 4x4s. Well, like the quad bikes.
aye.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I don't know anything more.
I
just remember being
I
at this
think I
country
actually
manor
went to that
house.
place with Scottish Power on a team building thing.
Can you imagine if that was
Just
a
to say
place?
Moffat.
I mean, I don't know how many big country manor
Is it
houses there
Scots
are.
Kershop? I think
Rings a bell.
we've been somewhere and you're in a man shed for one night and we were in
Yeah,
a
that's what
man-
we were doing.
and
We were
camped
camping.
out the following day.
We stayed in for one night, like bunk beds. 'Cause
Aye.
we were like all kids, but then we'd have like expeditions where you go out and stay and you
Was
go
there
camping.
was there a kind of lake thing where
Yeah,
That's it.
The
That's
lake.
the same place
I've
I've
got a
been at.
story.
as well,
The
isn't it?
lake. You just brought it all back. We were stood on the lake and we were watching. I think we were watching fish or whatever. And my mate stood on the edge, and I joked to push him in, and I actually did. And he couldn't swim. I pushed him in and he went. I tell you, he went absolutely mad.
I wonder.
I think that's where a lot of schools in Hoyk went there as a school trip. I think that's probably, I'm sure, because it wasn't far away from Hoyk actually.
Yeah.
So it would have been there.
Yeah, we used to get one called Dunkeld House. It was up in Dunkeld.
What
obviously,
a
but same
small
kind of-
world.
And same place, same way to go.
Can you imagine that if we've all been to that
Same
one?
holiday
That's quite
destination.
That
incredible.
one
And
place.
I never went to it with school, but I'm sure that's the same place I went to with Scottish
Aye.
Power for a team building thing.
But
With the lake
Moffat
and
must
the-
be such like a small little place, and it's probably not somewhere where.
Moffat's
Nah.
a great wee place. It's got a little boating pond in the middle and stuff like that, and the putting greens. That's a beautiful little place.
Nah, it's
I
nice,
don't. Did they have? Is it Pringle used to be there as well? They used to. I can't remember if they milled it there,
Aye,
but they used to
have a
sell
wee
it there.
bit,
Yeah.
aye.
But no, it's a cracking wee place, like so.
Yeah.
So, what do you reckon then, Chris? Do you think you'll ever go back and stay? Would you got to take your baby home and
I
see
would-
Scotland, or just?
I would never
for a
I would
holiday?
never say never.
Yeah.
But my life's here even more
Definitely
now anyway.
more so
So
now.
I mean, like I say, I've been here nearly 8 years and I've only had 2 times and I've thought,
Yeah.
and I had the twitch to go back. But
And they were just like blips, really. weren't
aye,
they?
a wee bit. I just struggled a bit. Like certainly, like I say, the only real time I struggled was at Christmas. But I got kind of dragged through there and dragged through that anyway for Paris and our family. They made sure that Christmas was extra special.
We kind of glazed over that a little bit, but I didn't want to push it too much. But I mean, I've got a few friends back home in Scotland who they're maybe not suffering from depression, but they're certainly talking about it a lot, and it's probably part of the COVID. But how do you get through it here? Because I mean, is it part of like your Scots and Perth group and friends that you made for that has helped you through it and stuff as well?
My mates for the football,
mates for football,
they
always
would do nothing but nip. Like I was when I was struggling, they'd be like, "Oh, I'd come round for your dinner."
Did you tell them how you felt as well?
I told a couple of like who had seen as my best mates at the football, and they were always like, "Oh, come round for your dinner." Nah, I'm all right. And I was just constantly saying no, and they were like, "We've got to continue to piss you off until you start saying yes." The football was a massive thing for me. It gave us something to really put my teeth into and be the best coach I thought I could be. So,
that's good, yeah.
Or like I used to be sitting watching football clips. I used to watch Sky Sports for back home. Jimmy Bullard, all the little tricks he used to do, and I would put them into training on a Wednesday. I'd look forward to that, and the boys were always like I say, on a Sunday after the football, we always got together, went for a pint, always had Batten and all that, and I'd sort of confide in a couple of boys from my work as well who were Aussies, which like I did have a lot of Aussie mates, but I had a couple of boys at work that I felt I could trust, that I could open up to. I can remember breaking down to my old boss. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I don't know."
It's a horrible thing, depression. I thought, I genuinely, as a kid, or young, not a kid, maybe in my late teens and early 20s, I genuinely thought depression was some bloody nonsense that skiving bastards wanted to get off work.
I think that's the stigma though, because no one talks about it, did they?
But see, the only people I knew that, I say I knew, right, but I sort of heard of and stuff, they were just work shy. That's what you thought. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were actually, but that's the impression I got. And then as I got older, you realise, just like everything else, your opinions change. But you meet people who are genuinely depressed, genuinely got anxiety, and it's a horrible thing, man. It's what do you think? I mean, my wife sort of suffered from by anxiety and stuff. I don't like going at too much without her giving me some permission. But filling your day it seemed to be a really good way to help. Is that kind of what you've done with friends and they film your day with stuff?
Kept myself busy at work. I was really lucky with work. Work actually have a scheme that they're affiliated with, like People Sense. So that's just basically for mental health. They help you in all aspects of life. Finances, mental health.
And Jason Windows
Jason Windows have got a kind of, so we get as a member of staff, we can get a minimum of 3 appointments with him. So I went to my boss, says, "Listen, I'm struggling, I could do with speaking to somebody." This was a scheme that had been going for 6 months. A lot of people had talked about it. No, a lot of people had actually went and seen them. And they give you a phone interview to start off with and just ask you how you're feeling, your life story. And they were like, she's like, and they were like, "What kind of person would you like to speak to?" I says, "I'm not sure if it's possible, but having somebody that's potentially from the UK would be a massive benefit, because they would then understand the whole coming across yourself." They're like, "Right, no problem." So I went and I met this, I think her name was Emma, from Newcastle. She came across with her mum and dad, no friends, no family, came across at a reasonably young age, had to start again, had to start a life again, had to build friendships, had to bring a life, and she could completely understand everything that I was going through. Well, this though, you're getting celebrities talking about it, you're getting sportsmen talking about it. It's constantly, you're constantly on your social media, there's constantly something, or it be a page or a person or a group discussing it.
It's good though. I mean, hopefully it won't get saturated again with people who really don't have it or don't really want, to just doing it for fill their Facebook page. We look at me, I'm, because
you'll get people like that. But
you will, but I mean, there's so it's great.
It's
that
a good
there's so
thing,
many
really,
people can be open and talk about it. Really.
Social media, really, it's opened the world up, hasn't it? And it's made people aware of stuff that they'd never ever know about.
There's still negative shit about that.
Yeah,
there
always will be.
I think there's more positives to social media. Don't get us wrong. I think it can properly consume your life.
Yeah.
See when you're like, I get that thing on my phone that comes up every week. You've spent an average of 9 hours on your phone, and I'm like, how have I managed to do that?
Yeah.
And why? Yeah. I mean, you just get consumed in your phone and on Facebook and all that. But then it's also difficult because you're across here and you want keep.
I think that's it, mate.
But
That's a big one for
if
me.
you're
Like,
interested